This shit is fucking crazy. I'm like, oh, you got. I'm like, you got me. I'm like, you got me.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Manny. This is Conversation 9 with a new renaissance, and I'm joined by Myles today of Maverick.GMP3. He's a fashion designer, a friend, a collaborator, and we're going to talk a lot about his journey, what he does here in Austin, and how you at home can potentially learn from his entire life story. So there's a lot to unpack, but want to open up to you first, my friend. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you for having me.
Of course.
Long time coming.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, super excited to get you on, hopefully help the people at home. So I guess to kind of give everyone your backstory, who is Myles? Give us a quick rundown of, what you do now, the stuff you make, and then kind of how you got to Austin.
Cool. All right, sick. My name is Myles. I am behind the brand Maverick.GMP3. Just changed the name from Jonathan Tano, so if you see Jonathan Tano, just ignore it. But
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
But from Ohio and Texas. Born in Texas, born in Dallas. Moved to Ohio when I was little. Was there for the first 10, 18 years of my life. Went to school in Eastern Pennsylvania, so made my way out to East Coast a little bit. Came down here in 2019, and I have been designing ever since. Transitioned from having a degree in political science to designing my own bags and accessories now. So that's
Let's go.
a little bit of kind of what I do.
Hell yeah. So what got you into like fashion? I guess it's like a really general thing, but what kind of made you want to do bags?
When I was in school, one summer I was up there training, and I was just bored alone in the dorms. I was training for our fitness test. I played soccer growing up. And I went to an H&M that was like 10 minutes away, got a bunch of clothes, started cutting them up, painting on them, and I had a little like 10 look collection called Pretty Tano. And I had my friend that was on campus take a bunch of shoots for me. So if you go on Facebook, if you look up Pretty Tano, you might be able to find some of the first pics of that. But yeah, that was my first like introduction into really getting into design. After that, I didn't do anything because I was still on the soccer team at that point, and I didn't really know I wanted to be a designer. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward to graduation, I came back to Austin. After I graduated, I was looking for a job in the government, and so I went to at the Capitol for a little bit. I tried to get a job there. I was trying to get a job at some environmental agencies down here as well. Nothing really worked out or stuck, and so I just kind of, I guess, went back to myself in the dorm room. So I started upcycling clothes, upcycling T-shirts. I cut up like this vintage. Well, I think it was Gucci, but it was just like this old Gucci bag from the thrift, and I made like my own. I didn't know how to screen print, so I cut out letters out of the fabric and sewed them onto shirts. And so like that was my way of kind of skipping past not having access or knowing how to screen print. And so I started upcycling. Then I was like, okay, I want to make the whole garment, and then that went to me like making hoodies. I went through a whole phase of like these really thick hoodies that I made for I think about like 6 months that only like my family and like friends really got those.
Yeah.
I did that for like 6 months. And then after that, I want to say I started working on pants. And then another thing happened after another. I had a video go viral on TikTok for a bag that I made. And that was kind of something that just propelled me into working with accessories. Kind of forced me to, because I literally had like 30 orders of a bag I had to put out. And I was like, oh, well, I can't work on anything else besides these bags. So
damn, that's wicked.
Yeah.
So like, have you always been into fashion?
I think in a way, yeah. I didn't necessarily know. Like I was never like brand conscious, so I didn't really like. I remember like I guess my first knowledge or like knowing I wanted to kind of like be in the industry or kind of like was interested was I saw these like Marc Echo shoes that were like black and blue, and I told my mom I want these. Well, she's like, you're not gonna like them after like a week or so, and then she was right. I didn't wear them after that, but I really just loved the different design that was on the shoe. And from there, I kind of learned that what the thrift store was, and so I started kind of dressing for myself instead of like what my parents bought me. And so I said like late high school is kind of when I started really getting into like developing my style, and then college came around is when I kind of really went into it and kind of like not the way I dress now, but it was kind of more of like, okay, I'm really not caring people think of like how I'm dressing and kind of just picking and choosing what I like. Like when Ugg boots first came out, like when it was the laces for guys,
Mm-hmm.
people were like, what are you wearing? And I was just like, well, I like them. And then like 2 years later, everyone's wearing them. And so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I've never been afraid to kind of like trust what I like and kind of go in a direction that I find attractive. So
Let's go. Hell yeah. Yeah, for me, I was always like, whenever my mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the mall,"
yeah,
I was like down. I was like 100%. I loved the mall so much. I loved just like shopping and shit. And like time and time again, I fell in love with sneakers. Got out of sneakers. Fell in love with vintage. Got out of
mm-hmm.
vintage. But I always was just like centered around like, I think like fashion's like a second voice you can almost have. So I think it's cool like you can look at anyone and they're pretty much saying something with what they're wearing. You know what I mean? So people who just blend in are not really trying to say much. People who do stand out, they're trying to say something. You know what I mean? I've always loved that about fashion. So like you were saying with the shoes, it's like even just like a sneaker silhouette or like a sneaker colorway, like your sneakers. I don't know if you can see them, but like he's wearing some fire right now, straight up fire, and like you made those yourself, you know, and that's still
yeah.
fucking so gas. But it looks like other brands, or I would think those are like designer. I think it's so cool that you can like upcycle pretty much as you want, which is what I want to ask you about. Um, if you were starting again today, would you recommend doing the upcycling route, or would you do like the whole screen print manufacturing route?
I would say it kind of depends on what route you want to go into. So if you want to, like for me, I always knew I wanted to be. I kind of wanted to know how to do everything. Like that's always like that's my personality. Like I want to know. Like I've always been like a why or how. Like my parents like did something like okay, why is that though? Like how is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like always kind of wanting to know the reason behind things. And so if you're very curious, I'd say to go into the do-it-yourself route. But if you're more so you just kind of want to get have more because there's also a whole different understanding of like manufacturing process that I have no idea what goes on in that. Where it's like I know a lot about how to make it yourself, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
as far as like manufacturing, I'm not the guy for you. And so like if you want to be less hands-on but kind of have a more I guess professional look like early on because those manufacturers like that's what their job is, right? Their job
For
is to
sure.
kind of give you that look. So if you want to be able to kind of fast track your ideas into your taste level, yes, that I would say go into manufacturing. But if you kind of want to develop it for yourself, and I think it provides more longevity because it gives you those skills and those techniques that you learn along the way to kind of developing your taste and your style. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say more the they do it yourself route.
For
So
sure. I agree. My whole thing was like I picked up a sewing machine because I was like gonna do manufacturing. I was telling
yeah,
you
yeah,
before we did this, like, bro, like you can send a manufacturer a sample. It takes like 30 days to get there. 30 days for them to get back to you. 30 days for them to ship it to you. And if it's fucked up, you have to go back and do it again. And it's like this whole tedious back and forth with different languages. Trade problems may happen and may get confiscated by like customs. Like there's so many things that can go wrong. So I was like, you know what? Instead of spending all this money and time and like never releasing something, I just want to be able to do something like now. And so like I bought like a hat press, a Cricut to cut vinyl, which is stupid, but it was fun. And then I would just like heat press shit on, walk up to people at thrift events or like vintage markets and just like hand them out to people. You know, it was very like DIY, but I think like all the fuck ups, ruining hats, ruining things, like getting pairs of jeans at the thrift store, fucking them up, is like everyone has like a little path to reach it. You know, some people can
yeah,
just do manufacturing, that whole thing. But I think the DIY scene is very like it demands a lot from you. You know what I mean? To like fuck things up, and you're like, dude, I was on this pair of pants for like an hour, and now I just sewed a thing wrong. I have to undo the whole
yeah,
seam. Like fuck, bro. Like it's such a crazy headspace. But I think it is like you're earning kind of like your keep.
yeah.
You know, when it comes to like fashion and shit. Um, so bags specifically, kind of what's like your idea with them? So if you haven't looked at his profile, you should look. He makes some insane bags. What's kind of like
Appreciate it.
your method there? Is there like a design language you follow, or is like kind of where does it come from? You know?
Now it's more so referencing older pieces I have. So like I've like when I first started designing like 2 years well designing bags like 2 3 years ago, I was making like either like a bag a week or a bag every other week. So I have a lot of this like of like product in my archive to kind of like perfect. Not even say perfect now, but like bring into like my new language. And so like I have at least like 30 bags I haven't even touched from my past that just are living on like in my phone. And so like
Mm.
when I before I was referencing like Balenciaga bags or like bags that I thought I really liked the shape of. 'Cause I was always kind of attracted to the shape of a bag, like how it looked on your body and also how it looked just like either laying down on the floor or just like by itself. And so I
Mm-hmm.
really like the idea of like accessories as yes functional, but also as like as its own art piece. And so that was kind of like what drove my inspiration early on. Like the tri-state bag I have, like that's a direct. I won't say it's not directly influenced. It doesn't not directly it doesn't directly like, look like the city bag, but my idea was like that's why it's called the tri-state, where it's like a tri-state around the city, tri-state area around the city, and so that's where that inspiration came from. But now like I have like this belt bag, and that's just more so that kind of fits into the accessories that I make now. So it's a functional way of using accessories that I've already made, and that if you were to kind of garner a collection from me, you're able to kind of insert and like take out other pieces of things that from my collection. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how I design now, where it's referencing my work in the past, but before it was kind of looking up to other designers that I kind of admired.
For sure. I know you're like your hat too, your belt and everything. You use a lot of stud work and like a bunch of piercings and stuff. Where does that whole idea come from? Is that another inspiration, or is that like a statement you're making?
I think it says I hate negative space. Like I really hate well, as far as like my clothes, like I like blank t-shirts. Like my shoes are just plain white. I usually like my pants or whatever to be just like a plain solid color, and like that part of it is more so filling up the space that I see. Like I really like I kind of have this thing where it's like my new brand now, Maverick.GMP3. It's like there's two sides of it. There's Maverick and there's Jonathan. So Jonathan he makes a very very good like baseline product, whereas like he makes a very very good belt, and then Maverick comes in and just kind of adds rings, he adds rivets, he adds holes to it, and like he's the one who kind of like messes it up and kind of adds his own taste to it. But like that's the one that I prefer, and that's the one that I like more. And so it's kind of like a thing of like never kind of seeing your work is done, almost in a sense, where it's like I can add some more, and like that's what Maverick is. Like I feel like I just kind of like adding not necessarily like flavor, but like I like adding just kind of a little bit of like personality to my pieces.
For sure, 100%. So when you're designing, kind of like, I guess like where's like the cutoff? You know what I mean? Like you can rip 100 of those studs. You know what I mean? How do you kind of find the balance, like when to stop and when to like keep it going?
A lot of times when I run out of room, like I literally had a belt. Like I made it late last year, early this year, and I had 200 studs. And the only reason why I stopped at 200 was because I didn't have any more room on the belt. Yeah. And so like sometimes it's literally just like now, like this belt I have on right now, like I stopped myself where I was like, okay, it doesn't. I want the kind of front to be how it hangs off your body and how there's already like a lot of drama on it. That part is kind of what fills up the space for me, and then the back has like the studs or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's a good way to put it. There's a lot of drama on
it.
Yeah. Bro, literally, like sometimes I design something, I'm like, I put patches on stuff, and I'm like, bro, I can't put enough. Like I keep trying to fill the space, and I'm like, I could have stopped 40 patches ago. What am I doing? You know, it's a very weird like kind of give and take.
Yeah.
So how have you navigated that? You just always kind of like go design by design, or is it kind of like I'm gonna shoot for 1,000? You know what I mean?
It really is design by design, because I don't necessarily sketch before I make something. So like for my sketch is like the first sample. I always tell myself my first, like a lot of if you looked at like my work from the past, like a lot of those like pieces I made, like that was the first sample I made, and I was like, okay, let's run with it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it was just kind of like, oh, okay, like if I need to add more, then that was like what I'd add on to like the next sample, or like I had revisions. So it's like there's a Tri-State 1.0, and then if I want to add more, then it would be the Tri-State 2.0, and then Tri-State 3.0. And I think I went up to like 9, I want to say, and so like that was inspired by there's this brand called I think it's Post Archive.
I was about to say,
yes,
bro, I was about to bring it up like a second ago, bro, because they do left, right, center.
Yeah, that's I forgot, but that the way they design their collection, like when I first started designing, that was a big inspiration for me as far as like, oh, I like how I didn't do the left, right, center. I just did like right. Like I was like, I'm going this way, and you guys are gonna like it regardless. And so that was the kind of. But yeah, I love
Path,
yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
I was gonna say PDF. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, they're in Korea. Like I don't know. I want to go to their store so fucking bad, bro. I love PAF, but they do like the left, right, center thing is so fucking sick. But then the main thing I love about PF is just like they let you experiment with it. It's the same piece, same like silhouette, you know. So like the right one would be just like a blazer, but the left one will have like giant slits in the back, like Rick Owens kind of level. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting like back and forth they have. It's so fucking fire, bro. Like I love everything they do. And their shows are saving their shows.
I think I only saw the last one because they yeah, I think I just saw the last one they had. Well, I think the one that was in the fall, I want to say.
When
I
everyone
saw.
laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, so fire, so fire. So what? I was gonna go to goals next, but like honestly, good segue.
Mm.
Where do you kind of want to take your brand? Are you trying to like scale it out in Austin? Are you trying to go global? Or are you trying to do like shows or kind of develop more, or just kind of do like bags?
I want to do like full collections. Like right now, I'm working on my first like proper collection, I would say, where I'm working on pants. I just put out 2 samples on my Instagram of 2 pants that could possibly be released in the fall. But now I'm trying to do like hats, like tops. I used to make flannels a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of like outerwear. So I'm kind of going back into that direction. But I kind of want to like I do love accessories. I want to be an accessory forward brand. Like that would always be the goal for me is to kind of have the accessory shine, but also I do want to have pieces in my closet that will close that are from me as well because I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of like thrifting, and that's kind of how I find my silhouettes as far as like what to make from that.
For sure, hell yeah. And so I want to ask more. So like now, with your brand, where do you find like Austin in that mix? Are you liking Austin as like a place for your brand to be?
I think so. Like I just got back here after being in Houston for the past 2 years, and it's changed a lot since I've been here, and I'm really liking the direction that I see everything going in. So before this was like a little bit of a placeholder. I'm like, okay, I'll just be here for maybe like no more than a year, but I'm really starting to see kind of like the areas that I could kind of fit into, and also the ways that I could help Austin, also the ways that Austin could help me as well. So I'm thinking that Austin, because I want to like also like kind of provide like my skill set as far as like small scale production for anyone who kind of I am open to that. If someone asks me like if I could do the project, I'll more than I'm happy like be able to talk to you if you wanted to do a few bags or a few belts, whatever it is. But yeah, like that's the goal is to kind of like have my own brand, but also have different kind of pillars that kind of branch off of it that are able to kind of also like fulfill the goal that I saw when I first started. Because I always wanted to have like a fashion school. I always wanted to have like my own brand. I always wanted to have just like a separate kind of just creative space that people can kind of learn at a young age. Because I just learned all of this when I was like 21, and so like I wish I was exposed to like a lot of this when I was younger because it would have just kind of like broadened my mind like a whole lot more.
Mm.
And also probably well I don't want to change everything. I don't want to change anything that happened, but I definitely would have. I think it would have been really helpful to kind of know about this side of life at a younger age.
What do you mean, like just fashion as a whole?
Yeah, and just like the creative industry, just like being creative, because I feel like I don't necessarily think I was around that. It was more so like okay, you have your sports and you
Yeah.
have like you're just like regular jobs, and I didn't really know that like fashion or just anything creative was even like in within like arm's reach, and
Mm.
so or even like something that you could do,
Yeah,
and so
100%. It is weird. I feel like I muted it too when I went to college. I kind of like shut it all off. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna go do my normal thing, do whatever, go party, hang out, and then like get a job and fuck it, that's it. And then I was like, damn, what would like 17-year-old Manny do? You know, because when I was in high school, I had my own brand. I was like thugging it out,
Oh,
throwing
well.
parties and just giving shirts away, like going to rap shows and just handing it out to any rapper that I would see. Like, I was really trying to like hustle as much as I could, and I just like stopped in college. And I like, not that I regret it, because it did serve its purpose in my life, but it was like it would be cool to be like working on it the whole time, like really, you know, trying to chop at it, you know. But I think it did serve its purpose, but I think it's really important, like for everyone. This is why I do the podcast. This is why I do all this stuff. This shit is like, bro, it's so important to just go out there and try. You know, you never know that could be an arm's reach, right?
Yeah.
It's really fucking interesting. A lot of people just kind of like shut it off and kind of forget about it. But I think it's important to kind of, that's what a new renaissance is all about. This whole podcast, everything is like, just turn it back on, you know, try to see if you can do something. You may not know that you're so nasty at like production, or you may love making tech packs. You could be so sick of that, you know? Some people were just like, oh, I'm just gonna get the house, the dog, and the truck, and that's it. It's like, bro, come on. Try a little something else, you know? And in 5 years, most things are fucked anyway with like AI and shit. Like, in the face of all that, bro, what do you got to lose, right? You know? So that's my take on it. Just fucking try something, you know? Who knows? But I do want to ask another thing is like about your journey to get to where you are now. You're doing it full time, right?
Yeah.
So basically, how did you get there? I know you said you had a TikTok go
Yeah,
crazy. Was that kind of like the first thing that really like popped you off?
I would say outside of like people that I knew, because before that TikTok, it was mostly like friends and family, like were people that were seeing my work and that were supporting me.
Mm-hmm.
And then like after TikTok, it was just like night and day where it was like, okay, I kind of like, didn't say like found my audience, but I found people outside of who I knew who understood what I was trying to like create. And so from there, it just kind of like, I kind of got addicted in a way of like, okay, I know there's this world out there for me and there's an audience out there for me. So now it's just like up to me to just keep pushing and keep kind of putting out my work so that they could find it and it could find its audience. Because I feel like now I just kind of like, I don't stress as much as far as like, I just kind of create the product and like it will, like I know the product is at a level where I want it to be. And now it's just like, okay, now I just got to keep pushing it out and keep kind of posting and keep kind of finding its audience because it's out there somewhere, but it's just like that's not the end goal like it was before. Like before, I was like, okay, I need to find this audience. I need to find my people. But now it's just like I'm a lot more content in the work, like kind of talking for itself.
For sure. So where did you get, like, this is a big thing I think with a lot of creators, people who watch this show and people who are like interested in like what we're doing at A New Renaissance is like a lot of people in the Discord, a lot of them are just like never modeled before, never done anything before, but they want to, right? So basically, where does like your confidence come from to do this creation stuff, you know, to post on TikTok especially because a lot of people are like so good at something, they like be nasty at photography, but like won't post, you know what I mean?
Word.
Where does that confidence for you come from, you think?
Funny enough, it came when I was in college. So like when I went on my own in college, I was posting on Snapchat. Like this is when Snapchat had like the time stories on like the top right corner. You could see how long someone's story was, and I was just posting on there nonstop. Like I had a YouTube log or something like that. Like people, like it was like I was posting on there religiously. I was posting on Instagram religiously. Like I was always like on social media posting, and so I think it came a lot from that was me finding my voice in a world where I was just kind of like when you go to college, like you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to find like what your path is and kind of like who you are. And I feel like I really did find that. I got a lot of confidence from doing that, and I was also surrounded by a lot of people who supported me and who really liked that version. So I was like, okay, and I was always scared of like kind of like being like this like outwardly like loud, like I say loud, but like it's like talkative, very extra person, and then being accepted into a space that like allows that. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And so from there, it was kind of a pretty easy transition into just more so just like explaining my work. And so it turned into like talking about myself and like whatever I was going through in college to talking about, okay, these are the specs of the bag, and these are this is how I made it, and this is that. So it was a pretty easy transition as far as like me going into design, because I already had this confidence in myself, and just kind of I just need to learn the skills to kind of also back up my confidence in my work as well. And so once the skill set like matched up with where I saw it was, I'm like, okay, this is easy now. Like we're like it's go time.
That's interesting. A lot of people don't have that like initial confidence like behind the camera. I feel like that's something a lot of people like kind of lack is like they'll have the skills, but they won't get the camera stuff right. You know what I mean? It's usually one or the other, but you have both right now. You know, you're able to do it full time and shit, which is sick. But do you think you had that confidence from like a young age to like pursue something for yourself or like do something?
No, I was really quiet. Like it's really funny because like a lot of people who knew me when I was like younger or even in like high school, like unless you were like really close to me, obviously you knew a certain side I had. But if you just kind of like knew me in passing or just like went to school with me and then you knew me kind of afterwards in college, it was like night and day. Like it was just went from this really really shy kid to this person that just like never shut up. And so it was like there's like a lot of different like versions of me that people know, and so it was kind of it's really interesting to look back on and kind of see how I progressed into like who I am today, and how like I kind of had to my mom forcing me to go to these conferences, Jack and Jill, and like being the only one at this conference from my city. So I had to get out of my shell and talk to these people that I didn't even know, to like switching soccer teams like every other year, learning these new faces and kind of getting out of my comfort zone. So like everything that I've done kind of just led to me being more comfortable with kind of being in spaces that were quote unquote like uncomfortable for me.
For sure.
So,
that's sick.
Like whether it wasn't even like fashion, like just life progressed in a way that luckily kind of I caught on to it.
Let's go. Let's fire. What are Jack and Jill conferences? What's that about?
Jack and Jill. I'm probably gonna like mess this up, but it was for African American families, and so I think it was more so to get the kids and the parents in an environment that was more uplifting. And so they had different like chapters all across the country. So I was in like the Midwest chapter, and then those Midwest chapters were broken down into like certain cities as well. And like my mom was the president of that of our chapter in Youngstown, and so I was a team president chapter, and then we had different conferences. I think like twice, 3 times a year, and we would just meet up, and it was kind of like a caucus. I don't know if you are familiar with. So like
really.
I think they're like more so like conventions in a way, where it's like governments kind of host those to kind of meet for certain like policies or different kind of like if you're going to amend something or something like that. I think it's more so like a formal like kind of gathering to discuss kind of like I guess the bylaws or whatever.
Yeah.
It's it was almost like a preparation for like working in government almost. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what that was, and it was I did that for I want to say up until I was 18. I want to say like
Damn.
yeah. So I was really involved the last like 3-4 years. 'Cause I was just a kid and I really couldn't. You were a part of it, and you guys met up like maybe like a few times a year to have like your whatever events. But once I got older, I was team president. It was kind of more required of you to participate, and so that's when I went to those conventions and whatnot. So
For sure. Hell yeah. So basically, to sum it all up now, you've been put in a lot of uncomfortable situations. You had to break out of your shell. You kind of found your way into fashion. You liked it a lot. You started doing your own thing, and now you found some success in it. And you want to keep going with that. It's pretty much as blanket and easy as you can put it, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like your, future for the brand, I know we talked about what you want to do, like more collections, more actual full-fledged things. But like for you specifically, is there anything you're like trying to say with the brand or like inspire people to do, or like is there a message with it that's like soon to be made into like the clothes or like the messaging of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's more so just like take up space. Like it's really like take up space, let yourself be known. Like don't hide when you walk into a room. Because I feel like a lot of my accessories are loud or like they have some type of noise to them, or just like you're gonna have someone look at you honestly if they're noticing it. And so like, I feel like it's more so to take up space and that you deserve to take up space. And so like with this new collection I'm working on, it's very much gonna make you feel either uncomfortable or you're gonna be appreciative of it or just gonna be or gonna admire it. So I kind of want to make you whatever emotion it is. I kind of want to make you feel something when you see the collection. So that's like the whole focal point, and it's also more has like a dark undertone to it in a way of like kind of like when you have this very obsessive want to kind of achieve your goals. So like think of like Black Swan or like even like the Joker, where it's like you're just so set on like what your goals are that you would do anything to kind of get to that place. And so that's what Maverick is. Like Maverick is just this like psychotic person who would do anything to get to where he wants to get. And so
Fuck with that, bro. So fire.
That's
I'm loving it too, bro. Everything you're wearing is so sick, bro. Everything you make when you came to our shoot and you helped us style, bro, like
appreciate
so
it.
fire. And I see the Balenciaga in it. I see like that like dark like grime scene, but also like the hyper pop. Like I see it. You know what I mean? I think if you go to his website, you'll know what I mean. So tell us a little bit more about like your creative process. To make all these wonderful bags and shit. How is it like for you? Are you like, I know you said we talked earlier about you obsessing over songs. What does that kind of look like when you get to sit down for a bag? You know what I mean?
So either I'm putting music on or I put on a show, and usually the show is Gossip Girl. And so cause I feel like I'm not looking at like whatever if I'm at the sewing machine or if I'm like doing work on my at the desk, like I'm not necessarily looking at the computer. So I kind of just need some type of noise other than like the machine or like the banging of like the rivets or whatever. I'm gonna go crazy. And so like for me it's a lot of like repetitive shows. I do a lot of like new music because like eventually like if I have like my playlist or whatever during the time, like right now I have a Maverick playlist. I'm kind of getting over that, and so now I'm trying to curate another one because those songs are kind of filtering out and getting a little.
They serve their purpose.
Yeah, so like that was the beginning of Maverick. So now I kind of want to do now, like a okay collection mode
Yeah.
of Maverick. But yeah, it's a very chaotic process. I do a lot of here, like I do, like I say, if I'm working on a panel of a bag with different like belts, I'll do this, and then while I'm doing that, I'll kind of switch over to my sewing machine and sew the dust bag up, or sew like the lining or whatever it is. So it's a very kind of like all over the place
Yeah.
a lot of times.
That's kind of how I work too. I'm very like, I'll switch from one thing to the one thing to
Yeah.
one thing like so fast. Like I'll do the rivets, I'll do the drilling into hats,
Yeah.
I'll do the sewing of patches, I'll stop, I'll switch it, do something else. I'll try to work on bags. I'll try to like work with manufacturers for certain things. Like I just want to be like all over the place, hitting everything.
Yeah.
You know, because if I say something for too long, I just kind of freak out. I don't know. I just kind of like lose. I kind of lose the message. I get too deep in it. I get into like the echo chamber, where it's like, they can use more. They're like, or
Yeah.
like I don't know. I think about things too much, so I kind of have to let them breathe for a little bit, and then look at it again. Like, all right, I know where we're at. Gossip Girl though.
Yeah,
That's a favorite song too right now.
Shout out, yeah, Gospel Girl by Sam X Emma. Very, very, very cool group I found. I think I found about them like 2 months ago. But I don't know where they're from, somewhere in Europe. But it's a guy and a girl, and they make some really, really, really cool music. But the show Gossip Girl, I was introduced in college to it, and someone was like, "You would probably really like the show." And
that's your shit.
Yeah, I've seen it probably like 20 times.
I would never picture you for a gossip guy, bro. Straight up.
It is, and I always like. I feel like that's one thing I always say. It always comes up somehow in conversation. But like and also like Dan Humphrey, like how he kind of wrote himself into the life that he wanted. It's like I love just kind of like the show itself and how like this dramatic it is, but also like kind of like the story behind how he literally like wrote himself into the story that he wanted to. And so,
yeah, that's tough.
So like whenever I need inspiration, I kind of like, yes, it's very entertaining, but also I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I'm trying to do, and kind of that's what I did. Like I didn't know anything about fashion, I didn't know anything about the industry, whatever, and so I kind of just wrote myself into it by teaching myself from the ground up.
Hell yeah, that's the wave, bro. 100%. I think a lot of people are waiting for like, kind of like the opportunity to like get accepted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the only way you got to make things happen is by just going out there and fucking swinging for the fences and see what happens. So like me with little vinyl hats, like not giving a fuck, the dumbest product ever, or like sewing like bad shirts or bad hoodies and like throwing them away or like fucking up. I've broken, bro. I'm on my ninth sewing machine. I've broken so many fucking sewing machines, like needles nonstop, like so many things. But I feel like people are waiting for like the timing or like the right thing or like, you know. So I guess I'll pose that question to you. What is like perfectionism in your life? Is that a big thing you try to go for?
I think with leatherwork, it's helped me get away from that. So I feel like with a lot of even like with the rivets, like I don't technically, as much as I have a product on my website, so I have a product on my website and it's a certain like stud design, I try to replicate that as close as I can, but realistically I don't use like a guideline. So everything I have is probably a little bit off, and so everything is probably one piece. And so like working with leather has kind of taught me to be more just fluid in how I design and more accepting of like the flaws, just because like leather, there's a lot of like scars or scratches or different like brands or different like marks on the leather. So like no leather piece, unless has like a certain finish on it, is going to be alike that I use. And so it's really, really taught me just to kind of be like, okay, this isn't perfect, but it's perfect for what I'm trying to do. And so like with that mindset, it's helped me like I think grow like tenfold as an artist over the past like year and a half. So
yeah, I think it's a very important thing if you're like starting anything creative. Like the perfectionism, trying to get accepted or like trying to wait for it to be perfect is like just gonna slow you down. Like, you know what I mean? Like I posted stuff before and it's like just a random TikTok out of nowhere and it blows up. I'm like, what the fuck? Versus the one I spent like hours editing trying to make it perfect and so sweet and like the perfect little hook or whatever. Like I don't know, it's all about kind of just going for it, you know, to be honest. One thing I want to ask you is like with that whole perfectionist thing, people like may look at you and think, oh, he has just so much confidence to like go out and do his thing and like make these, for other words, like weird kind of things, even though I fuck with them so heavy. Like, you know what I mean? You're saying I want people to like walk in a room and be like, what the fuck is he wearing? Yeah. You know? And I love that. Does there ever any like doubt in your head, or have you dealt with like doubt in yourself in this space at all?
Yeah.
Or gotten over it? It
comes up like a lot though. Like as much as like I do have this confidence and like, and I know the work I put out is one, quality, and two, it fits the vision that I'm trying to put out. There's also like once a month where I'm like, whoa, Like, what if they don't fucking like it, right? Like, well, if like, well, like, damn, like it's kind of it's not getting enough likes or whatever it might be. But I always just kind of it's very slow for how long it happens, and then it kind of just picks back up to where I'm like, okay, what am I thinking? That has nothing to do with me. That's outside thoughts. That's outside metrics or whatever it may be. That's causing me to kind of necessarily spiral, but just like think these thoughts are outside of my own. So it's very much just like I feel like I've set a foundation as far as like how I think and how I like see myself designing. Where I was like outside noise isn't really. It's kind of like where like thing where like if you send like a risky text and you just like throw your phone. Like where me, like I used to do that where I was so scared of seeing like feedback where I'm like, oh, I like design, but I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna be perceived. Now it's just like, okay, whatever. This post and go on like without my day. And
so I love that. If you were starting today, sorry, it's hard to respond to think of the next question. If you were starting today, right, what would you recommend people do as far as like, imagine they have like a thing, they're doing leather, they're doing bags, whatever it may be. Would you recommend just start posting things on TikTok and trying to get that feedback from people, or what would like, or get better at the crafting silence? What would kind of be your like recommendation? You think?
I would say, if you're a person who doesn't take criticism well, I would say do it in silence because like me growing up in soccer, I grew up in like more I guess advanced like leagues and programs. So, like I had a lot of critique back on how I was playing because there was a certain level that was expected of you. So if you're not really, and I also played soccer in college, so it's like there's a lot of, if you're not used to kind of that like harsh criticism or harsh like feedback, then I would suggest you post something that you're more comfortable getting feedback with at first, and then slowly introduce them into like, hey, I'm doing this work. But if you really don't care, if you have thick skin, I'm saying go all for it. But I know the internet can be like a very, very harsh place. I had a video that still gets comments now, like 4 or 5 years ago, of me making like these rings that are made out of pearls, and I said, oh, I tried to make rings that look like fingers or like bones of fingers. People like, oh, well, that doesn't look like an actual finger. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like that video also taught me to kind of, because I would delete comments, I'd block, I'd be like, oh, you're not about to say this on my posts. But like from that, it also like taught me, okay, like I'm a lot stronger than I thought going into this, and that from there it was just kind of, it was very, very clear water. So I would say if you're open to criticism, by all means, I would say post. It's the best way to kind of get instant feedback. Like, yes, your friends are amazing, amazing resources, but I feel like also it's very, very good to kind of go out of your circle and see what other opinions think and what other minds think. So,
for sure, I think people like, it's weird like yin yang of the internet where it's like it can be so good but also so bad. Yeah. So I recommend the kind of the same thing. Like just honestly go for the swing for it again, bro. Like who gives a fuck? Truly, like it's really hard to put into words how much TikTok has like opened up my life. To be honest, like the reason I met you and Adarius behind the camera.
Yeah, you know, I saw one of your videos. Like, okay, yeah, it's exactly what I'm looking for. So
literally, like I'm pretty sure that's how we met, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just hard to explain, bro. Like TikTok has opened up so many doors. Like I could go on and on about it, but I won't for like people's sake. But like I met so many cool people, so many events, like so many things just open up for me just by like throwing some fucking bullshit against the wall. Like not in a bad way, but just like posting whatever came to my mind, you know. And yeah, it sucks. People are gonna shit on you sometimes. Like, oh my god, the amount of people who shun me, the amount of Austin locals who like just go crazy with me if I give any recommendation about any little restaurant. Like, this is not an actual. This place was better 15 years ago, bro. Come on, like I'm okay with it. I'm okay with things, negative things hitting me, whatever. But like, man, so many opportunities have happened. You know what I mean? Like, I literally, bro, I don't have a product yet. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I have old ones from like my own company, but like, a new Renaissance is just like an idea. You know, and just talking about the idea online has opened up, you know, to us meeting, to everyone meeting. It's so like insane. And you could just create a community. Like I didn't have one here. I moved by myself, not knowing fucking anyone. And you could just create something out of thin air if you just start posting online. Like, so that's like the good of it, you know. And the bad of it, of course, is like people hating on you. But like, if someone's saying anything about you, you're kind of on their mind, which is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
It's like all publicity is good publicity in a way.
Literally.
It's like as long as they're talking, especially like as long as they're talking, like it's. Like if it doesn't physically affect you, like you're good. Like you'll be okay. You'll wake up tomorrow. You'll You'll be able to design again. You can still post what you want. It's not like, well, just because they say something doesn't mean that's the end all be all. It's also their opinion. Like, you have your opinion, they have theirs. Someone next to them will have another one. Someone next to them will have another one. So it's like there's all these opinions out there, and once you just kind of get that wrapped around your head, I think it's very, very easy to kind of navigate. Like, you probably know this whole
and with products too, I bet like it's so fucking easy to like, if you're open to it, at least hearing like the criticism or hearing like good feedback, I bet you it's so like motivating. Like what I do, because I don't post anything I make on TikTok that much, like I kind of just release those, but I talk about everything else. I basically just send all of my design ideas or things I'm working on to my friends or like people I respect, and like, what do you guys think about this? What's wrong? Where are the holes in this? And I want people to like find holes in my plan or my idea. Like when I rebranded, I literally hit up every single person, like 15 people. I was like, I sent them the whole like thesis. I'm like, nothing's really changing. I'm keeping my same logo, but I'm like, I want to boil it down to what actually matters, like starting a Renaissance. And I was like, what are the holes? Tell me what's wrong with this. And like people were like, couldn't really find much. And I was like, that sounds pretty fucking good to me. And so that's kind of how I just go about everything, is like, how much feedback can I get? Another thing, I think I say this a lot on every podcast we do, but like, man, the echo chamber of being alone and working on your shit is like cool. But after a while, I mean, I don't know how you handle with this, but like that echo chamber of like, you can just get so caught up in your head and trying to get your message out that you don't even realize that like there's not a market for this yet, or you don't know your ideal target customer, or you may be thinking it's one person, but it's actually a whole other subset of people. You know what I mean? So like finding out your ideal customer really only happens when you're putting your shit out, you know, or who receives it well, or who doesn't receive it well. You may be going for skaters, but they may hate your shit. Yeah. But like the punk scene really loves your shit, and you maybe fuck with the punk scene, and they like really start putting you on, you know? And I think it's really, if you're starting anything, just start putting some shit out, see what happens, roll the dice, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's nice to have an archive, it's nice to have a collection, but at the end of the day, I feel like art's meant to be appreciated and meant to be seen. Like, if it's just seen by you, it's cool, but I feel like at the end of the day, people want their art to be seen, and so I get there could be this fear, but I rather have a fear of, I feel like the fear of not knowing is a lot worse than a fear of like rejection. Honestly.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Like I always say this to my friends who are like scared to post or scared to like put something out. I'm like, bro, like art is only art once it's shared. Like it's just another file on your computer if it's just like sitting there. You know what I mean? Once you actually put it out is when it can be considered art, or it can be considered like, you know what I mean? You could have had 100 different, the world's best book, but if you never published one, like what does it even mean at all? You know? Yeah. So that's kind of my whole idea with it, is how much can I put out? How much ideas can I iterate with people? Like us styling together, you and Tyler styling together, like getting people we've never met before. You know, I never met you before our first community shoot. Like how can I get more people together and get better ideas? You know what I mean? Bouncing enough a room with 10 is way easier than just me. Yeah. Me, you know? Yeah. So in your brand, do you think in the future you're going to like work with other people, or you want to hire a team, or what does it look like for scaling wise, you think?
That's the goal, I want to say, is to have a team of people. Like right now I'm so just like, I think I'm learning the way that I want to be able to teach people in the future, where it show them, I'm kind of learning the different pathways of how I want to run my business and how I work on product and how I make my product, where it's like, I don't think I'm there yet to be able to translate enough to employees, but that's the process right now, is getting to that next step of either having interns or working on like outsourcing my work, and where it's like teach people like, okay, there is a right way, but that's not the way that I'm doing it. Like if you were asked like a leather worker like how to like sew something or whatever, like my way is probably not up there. And so like I don't necessarily do things the traditional way. So it's like framing it in a way that people can understand, and also kind of finding people that are okay with going outside the norm, outside of like, okay, this is the right way, this is the textbook way, but this is how like we do things here. And so that's the goal. I'm just kind of building up to being able to translate that to more people.
How do you think? I love that. That's honestly where I'm going to. I want to get everyone involved. I want you involved, like Darius, like everyone involved together, and like just building something bigger. Like I think a company, like my company already has 130 people in it because I have 130 people in the Discord. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I look at it. It's like I don't want it to be like me. I want it to be like legit democracy. Like, what do you guys think about this design? What do you guys think about this event? Like literally every event I plan, I'm asking people like, what should we do? Or like, here's the treatment. Do you guys like it? Like, what do you guys want to shoot? And I leave it open to interpretation. Like when we did that, I literally said, you just stop people and let them run free. Like you don't know how they're gonna, what the pictures are gonna look like. You were just like, fuck it.
Yeah, because I think you trust enough what you put out into the world to kind of like know that it brought back a certain town or a certain understanding to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what I put out, and I know these people that I've also brought into this. So it's like, okay, I trust what they're able to put into it because I've put out what I need to put out. And so if that makes sense in a way.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Like at some point you got to start trusting like experts, you know what I mean? People who are like, and even if they're not experts, it's just like trusting other people to like carry out your will. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think a brand really becomes like a brand is like, are other people carrying it out? Like, are the people who are wearing my shit carrying out my message? You know what I mean? I make clothes for aspiring artists, people who want to try, right? Are the people who wear my shit actually trying, or they're just doing it for like clout? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm successful once they actually start wearing it and like are doing something. Like one thing I'm working on is hats that say working on it on the side, and that's like every time I go back to home for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
people ask me like, oh, like how's that fucking clothing brand going? Oh, I'm working on it. Like that's the whole thesis of my brand is like I want that feeling of like fuck, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I want to like emphasize that as like a good thing. Like I want the person who's literally in a coffee shop freaking out about their design or like their graphics or like their concert they're throwing to be wearing the hat that says I'm working on it. You know what I mean? So when someone looks at it like, they're on some shit versus like someone just wearing it to like out, And that's kind of my whole thing. I want people to be together, do some cool shit together. So the first community photo shoot we did was pretty cool, dope event, and then hopefully we can do another one indoors because my god, that shit was hot as fuck.
Yeah, like the hottest day in like literally the hottest day in the past like few months.
Without a doubt, like so fucking insane. But it's a trial. It's all a trial run. Like everything, bro. Like everything is a trial reel. You know what I mean? Like everything is just another TikTok. Like how can I throw up as many shots as I can and hopefully see if you go in? And so I think I want to get a team, do that, and get people. Like my team is already like just us. So. It's crazy. I think that's what a brand really becomes a brand. But I'm going on a little rant. Whatever. So one thing I want to talk about because my goal with my team is like to eventually own my own space where we can all collaborate, like you were saying in Houston, or was it Houston?
It was Columbus. They have this like huge like co-working space. There's woodworking and like metalworking, but they also have they're building a new space. Shout out Yoji. It's near the fashion school they have in Columbus. It's called I have no idea what it's called, so I'm not gonna say it. But it's a lot bigger space than they had before. But it had a bunch of like industrial machines, storage space. They had like huge cutting tables. Like when I did a lot of my beginning work, I did a lot of it like prep work as far as like cutting like let's say like 20 pieces or 20 panels out. Like I did a lot of my work there, and I just brought it back home to do the sewing. So it's a huge area that allows people access to a lot of these like industry level materials and industry level spaces. So it was really, really sick space that I think that I always tell people about it because I feel like every city should have, like not just the major cities obviously they probably already have a space like that, but like every city should have a space like that just to kind of get people the opportunity and the knowledge and just even the understanding that this is possible and this is what this like show them a new world that they probably didn't even know before that. So
without a doubt. That's what I want to do. I want to literally, my ideal goal is my store. I want it to have like a giant cutting table in the middle, but during the day, that's like where you see our products. And at night, we clear the table, we live stream our fucking design sessions, and we like cut on the table, like plan the shoots. You know what I mean? That's like, and then move the table at the end, and like later than that, and throw parties there. That's the ideal fucking goal of this whole thing. Is like how can I get a room where actually like, people can just come in whenever they want. Like I want people to come to my store for like 6 hours and not feel pressure to like buy anything. Like you go to stores and you're like, they want me to buy some shit. You know what I mean? Like
keep looking and like
like
can I help you out?
you want to try that on? It's like I want people to just go there and literally hang out and like not have to worry about it at all. Just like a place where people can hang out, see some people working some cool shit. Like that'd be such a fire hang. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get inspired, be around it. Like I want everyone to be an intern. Everyone to be an intern of the game. Just go there, hang out with some cool people who are like arguably better than you at what you're doing. Like if you're aspiring fashion designer, you're like, fuck, these guys are like doing it. You can just hang around them and see what they're doing. That's so insane to me. That hasn't been like a thing yet. Yeah. But yeah, I think something like that is probably in the works just once we get the bread up. You know what I mean? That's like the ideal goal. So how do you feel about Austin for it all right now? Are you liking like the stuff you're seeing as far as like feedback goes as far as the city?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback. A lot of my shout out to Second Street as well. A lot of my samples that, cause like the way like my business works, that my samples, I'll make them and I'll post them online, but I make everything in order. And so the things that you see is not what you're getting. Like I'll make it I make everything like one-offs, and so any samples that I just don't use, or I have like bins full of just like samples over the past few years, and so I drop a lot of my work off there to give like the opportunity to people to kind of pick up my work and get like a, because I sell everything online right now, and so that's a really good way to kind of get physical feedback as far as like, oh, this is sick, this is really sick, I like this, I like the feel of it, because a lot of my stuff is really, I think it's, if once you see it and once you feel it, once you feel like kind of like the weight of it, the different like textures of it, like the feel of the studs, you can actually feel like the different like imperfections of it. Like it's a whole different kind of like feeling, I think. And so that's been a really good experience to kind of have that like immediate feedback while still kind of having the feedback as well, like online.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Austin has a very good bones. I think people are still trying to find their way, but I think there's a lot of people here that want the same goal. We just kind of have to formulate that and find, like you said, like find the spaces for them to kind of to fill into. Because I feel like the people here, the ideas are here. It just kind of, now the next step is kind of getting that physical space where people can convene and kind of just continue to grow off of that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. So wait, how did you get into Second Street? You just reach out to them, or they reach out to you?
Well, they do I guess like it's like a secondhand store where you can sell your stuff. And I just went in one day. I didn't know, I was just selling my old clothes in my closet, and I didn't know, and I was wearing one of my pieces, and they're like, "Oh, do you sell those?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know they took like in brands like smaller brands, but
Mm-hmm.
they did." And so like for the last like month or so, I've been just kind of dropping stuff off whenever I have the time to, clearing out, like, because like I literally have like, I only wear like probably like 5 of my accessories like at a time, and so I have like hundreds of, of pieces just chilling. And so I'd rather them go to someone who actually is going to use those and actually kind of put them in their day to day than just to sit in a bin in my place. So
No, 100%, bro. I agree. That's super fire. That's such a fucking sick opportunity. That's so tough.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we gotta get on that.
They also have they have a really cool, like the team there, like they have a really cool curation. So like
Yeah.
Like,
the one in UT.
That one I go to sometimes, but I'm more towards the one on South Lamar. It's in the
Fuck, I'm trying to think.
it's in, I think it's Sunset Valley, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that I go to a lot though. But I have gone to, I think there's 3 locations in Austin. I think
they're everywhere, bro. All over the world.
I didn't know Austin had that. Well, I think the one closest to me just opened, I want to say maybe in the time I was gone, but finding that has been like night and day, honestly.
That's so fire. Yeah, I love that. So, if someone, I know we kind of thought about this again, but if someone is trying to start from scratch, what are some fuck ups you've had along the way that you would recommend people like avoid? You know what I mean?
No made to order. I feel like I do everything made to order, so I don't make anything unless the customer places an order for it. And in retrospect, it was really good because I got to learn a lot about what didn't work. I got to learn how to kind of like speed up my production times, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of not even just work on like the actual pieces. It's a lot of work kind of explaining to and dealing with customers who might want it in a faster time frame than you're kind of pushing out. And so it's a lot of added stress, I think, is involved with made to order than it is just to pre-make something. Like I get the finances are also like, that's, if you can't put up the money to kind of pre-make things, I get that's understandable, but it just saves a lot of stress, I think, to pre-make everything. Like I have it, like I like the made to order model, even though like I'm kind of like a little masochist. Or I kind of like the stress of like being on like a deadline where it's like, okay, I have to get this out in a certain amount of time. Whereas like I've come to like it and enjoy it, but I understand it's like a very, very tough process, especially if you're making everything. Like if you have someone, if you're sending it out to like made to order, like if you're sending it to a manufacturer, that's cool. But if you're making everything yourself, just batch it, pre-make it. It saves a lot of I won't say time, but it saves stress.
Yeah,
a lot of stress.
And what about the stud machine, bro?
Oh yeah, I would say get the equipment, because I used to like the rivets on my thing. Like let's say like the belt that had like 200 rivets on it. In the past, like a year ago, I would have to hand place every single one of those rivets, and so I got the hand press that cuts down on one time, 2, making sure that every like one will mess up out of every like 200. So you have to like pull one stud out instead of like me before. If I'm hand setting them, it's probably like 1 in 5. And
Yeah.
so you're wasting materials, and also like my hands started to swell up because I was missing I was missing the tool and hitting my hand with the mallet like every single time. And so I would say get the machine that kind of like invest in like the proper machines that kind of speed up the work. You don't need to get like the $500 or $1,000 machines, but just get the basics that are a step up from what you need, because it'll end up paying for itself in the long
I
run.
agree. I can attest to that. I fucking use the regular the method, and it sucks, bro. I fucked up my hand so many times. I've smashed a hammer in my hand. Like,
Yeah, it's
bro, it's hell. And I mess up things. I have to like I have to get a pliers. I have pliers
yeah.
right here on my desk, bro.
Yeah,
These are the
it's
pliers.
and then you have to like not like try to like damage the product too, because it's not like, because you could set them wrong, but then they're still like locked in there, so it's like trying to like finagle it out or whatever, and
sucks.
it's
Nothing's worse than being 75% of the way in. You're
yeah,
like,
it's
fuck,
like I
bro.
wish it would just miss it all the way, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a nightmare. But it is the love of the game, you know. I love making. I like negative space. I like making negative
Yeah.
space in hats. Like, I love that shit. I think it's so tough. Yeah, I think it's so much fun. So, how do you continue to make it fun? You know, if you do have these deadlines and you're like trying to scale this brand, how do you keep the kind of fun in it?
I really like designing now, especially like making everything. That's why like I'm not in a rush to even like outsource my work to a manufacturer, because I really do love making everything. I might not like remaking products. Like I've learned where it's like, that's why I'm saying like the batch thing is, or just a one-on-one route where you're not like everything's ready to get shipped out, because I don't like to factor like I'm my own like manufacturer, where it's like sometimes I'm like an assembly line, or like I remember before like 2 years ago I had to make 30 bags in a month, where it's like I had my routine where it's like every day I'm just okay, sun up, sun down, I'm at the machine just going. Like it's not even there's not a thought besides okay, so I've learned to love it in that way, where it's like I've cut down on kind of like the job. Yes, it is a job, but I really like the work that goes into kind of. I like the end result enough to kind of being like, okay, well, the work is gonna be worth it. And so I guess I know it's kind of hard to love. Well, it's not hard to love your work, but I've learned to love what I do, and I think the benefit of kind of like being able to say like I made this, and also I'm very much a hands-on person too as well. So it's like anything with my hands, like I just changed my spark plugs in my car like a week ago. I was like, damn, okay, like checked it off the list now. I can do that. So like anything with my hands, like I love cooking, all that. So I think I really like I've learned to love like the process throughout the years, and so that's it. Like learn to love the process regardless of what it is, and then I think everything just kind of becomes a lot easier to get to the end goal.
Let's go. Hell yeah. So for the future of your brand, I know you're saying you're going to try to scale and go crazy and start making collections. Kind of close now. So where can people find you? Where can people like see your work? I know you said you're going to do the Instagram again to Maverick, and by the time this comes out, it'll already be updated and everything. So is all your work going to be on Maverick?
Yeah, so all of my like belts, bags, wallets, all of that will be on Maverick, and then just the journals that I make will be on Jonathan. Because I feel like it really is a separate market. Because I feel like the people, like I do get DM, like if like I feel like I have two different customers a lot of times. Like I've had a bunch of videos go viral for my journals last year, and it kind of keeps being that way, where it's like they don't even care about the belts or the bags. Like they're like, belts, no, I don't want any of that. Like I want the journals. And there's people that want like card holders, and the belts are like, like why? Like I don't even need a journal. And so for me, I think it's good to keep them separate, as far as like even like with keeping track of things in inventory, like emails and stuff like that. Just I learned it's a lot of mix up, and as far as like how I had it before, and so this is just going to be a lot easier process to kind of separate the two, and also separate the two with like vision wise and how I want to portray it on social media. And so it's been a move that I've been thinking about. I've kind of teased it where it's like everything's called Maverick. Like I've had regular products on my website, and then when I'll if I have it say like if Maverick designed it, I'll say Maverick's journal or Maverick's belt, because it either has like crazy studs or it has like rings and piercings on it or whatever it might be. So like that means Maverick designed it. If it's just like a regular plain Jane like belt or whatever, that's Jonathan. That's just a very boring, not boring, but just like good
right
bones. Yeah,
and
yeah,
path.
yeah. Right. It's right. It's like good bones, nothing else to it. Because like not everybody wants to be flashy, but it's not necessarily like I'm not like I say taking away from the design aspect of it, but it's just like watering it down in a way that I'm still able to reach someone who might want it without the bells and whistles on it.
Yeah, you're finding both. You're
Yeah.
finding both markets,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
great. So last question I'll ask you, and then we'll sign off here.
Wait, wait.
What is your message to the youth right now? People who are trying to get into something, kind of get into like something creative and trying to push it.
I would say to don't be afraid to try anything once. I feel like always be curious, like really stay curious. Being curious is what kind of, well, I guess not being curious is kind of what kept me away from leather for the longest time. Like I've always wanted to work with leather, but I was always just like scared of kind of like, oh, well, what if I mess it up? And what if, and now like the whole ethos of what I'm even designing with is kind of like, oh, it's a little messed up. And so like always trust your gut, follow your vision, and like really, really, really like stay curious. Because like I know a lot of times they would say curiosity killed the cat, but I think for me, curiosity has opened up doors that I couldn't even imagine. So
Same. Fuck that cat.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all I say,
fuck the guy.
curious,
He'll come back again. He has 9 lives. So he'll come back.
Yeah. All right. So the people can find you in the bio. I'll put all of his links to everything. But appreciate you for being on, my man. It's been a great time, and hopefully we collab more in the future and get some crazy shit going in a new Renaissance, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's been a treat.
Of course, bro. Anytime. And that's it. Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Woo. We're after this.